contracts and High. Should be pretty fun. High specifically makes teams weird to play against, like FlyQuest and stuff. There's a few times in Spring Split where the games were super close. It felt like it was really impossible to get farm without like just some big fight happening immediately, because I guess High is just really good at recognizing where big waves are crashing and stuff, so he'll like call for people to join up for it. So I think it'll be a really rough match, actually. I don't think they'll go down very easily. They should be one of the better teams early on in the split for sure, and then we'll see how they can go.
Hello and welcome back to Game 4, where the Golden Guardians aim to defeat Cloud9. Let's go ahead and jump right into the starting lineup. Selecting the blue side, it's the Golden Guardians, with Lorlo in the top lane, Contracts in the jungle, High shot calling from the mid lane, Deftly bottom, Matt on support, and Coach Loco Doco.
And that means challenging them on the red side, it's Cloud9. Top lane, Licorice, the new guy in the top lane. Jungle will be Svenskeren, mid is Jensen, bot is Sneaky, support is Smoothie with Coach Reaper. I gotta ask you, do you like Sven-Gen, or are you more of a, Jen Skaren type of guy?
I feel like Jen Skaren probably has more synergy to it.
Skaren.
Yeah, because at least then you've got like the first half of one name, the second half of the other name. The Sven-Gen, it's two first halves. I don't know about that. But despite many Cloud9 fans leaving the offseason a bit disappointed, the new squad picked up a win on opening day.
Yeah, they were able to take down Counterlogic Gaming, and despite the rough start from Svenskeren, he did come in clutch for them in the team fights with those Sejuani ultimates. But if you're talking about Svenskeren, now you gotta talk about the Gen and the Sven-Gen. But let's see what Jensen had. He had a 3-1-9, 100% KP game on that Zillion. We just saw who he played Zillion in that same matchup and lose, but Jensen had control of that game. 100% KP from the mid lane, and you don't have to worry about that when he's going up against High.
I mean, he's always been a powerhouse, but for two Golden Guardians, High and Contracts, this is their first shot in 2018 going up against their old banner in Cloud9.
And these stats right here, he has only beaten Jensen a single time in the matchups that they have had. And look at that CSD at 15. This is really one of those highlight things where you go back and you think about when Cloud9 had High on it and then they replaced him with Jensen, was because they really wanted somebody who was a bit stronger mechanically in the mid lane to push them to international performances instead of that shot calling. This is the brains versus the bronze here, and who's going to end up winning this one? Because High yesterday, he did not have a good game either and was shut down. So Jensen, he can definitely prey on those weaknesses.
And going into this game today, if you look at where a lot of people rank these two teams, if you looked at power rankings, if you looked at predictions, a lot of people were putting Golden Guardians towards the bottom end of the table, and people don't traditionally have Cloud9 as high as they've had them in past splits either, because, like we said at the intro here, they think, or it appears, that Cloud9 had one of the weaker off-season rotations. That's what a lot of people are saying. So both these teams have something to prove. Even though Cloud9 did find a win on day one, they found it after they came back, after CLG was ahead in the early game. So they really want to make a statement here against a team that a lot of people are predicting to be more towards the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, and with Cloud9, though, come rain or shine, they always make it to Worlds. They always make it to the Worlds quarterfinals. And I think only missed out on groups, or missed out on quarters, I believe, a single time. And think about it again, like, they went to a game 5. They were like one play away from being in the semifinals. And I gotta talk about Jensen here a little bit more, because he busted out the Zillion yesterday. And I remember a lot of the criticism towards him was he's a very selfish player last year. Then come Worlds, he's playing the Galio mid. He picked up Aurelian's Soul when like only Huhi pretty much played it in the North American LCS. And he's obviously putting in the work to improve as a player. And now I want to see how he does against High again.
Well,
especially on this. Oh, baby.
We are going to get to see some Zoe. It finally manages to sneak past the ban phase. And sure enough, it is scooped up by the Golden Guardians. They will be playing that today. They did ban away Rengar, Ornn, and Zillion, really respecting what Jensen's able to do on that champion, as Kalista, Ezreal, Kog'Maw, all banned away by C9. Heavy AD carry focus.
Yeah, it's a very heavy AD focus towards Deftly, who is a rookie. And he's the only rookie on the team of Golden Guardians. So, and they aren't even picking their AD early. So it looks like they're just like pinching that pool, and then they may potentially just let him take what he wants and then maybe counter. But AD carry doesn't feel like a role that you get a lot of counters later. And Tristana is still up. So feel like that might be something you want to grab.
Well, instead, they'll grab the Tahm Kench along with the Ryze. We've seen a lot of Ryze in the mid lane, but with Malzahar open, people generally seem pretty comfortable playing Malzahar into Ryze. But you've already got the Zoe, which, see, Zoe is so often banned, and I so often just keep her out of my mind. Zoe's locked in, and it doesn't even register. I'm like, oh, I wonder what they'll pick mid lane, because Zoe is clearly banned all the time.
Yeah, and it just looks like they're just going for counter pick here on Cloud9's side. Able to pick whatever they want into the mid. They'll be able to see whatever AD carry comes out and then pick against that. But it just seems like that's kind of the game they're playing here. Not trying to show any cards or go for power picks like a jungler top lane here. And they're more focused on just winning those lanes and beating them with a counter strategy.
That new splash art for Varus still throws me off. I'm so used to seeing the old Varus that whenever I see the new one, I'm like, wait, what champion is that? But they do lock him in for that bottom lane. They're also going to be picking up that Gangplank for the top lane. Again, we talked about this in the previous matchup, about how powerful he is with Kleptomancy, about how safe and effective his laning phase is, and we'll get to see what Lorlo can do on him here. Remember, the Gnar still is up and available. We saw Someday play that to great effect against Darshan's Gangplank just last game. So maybe that's what Cloud9 will go for, maybe not. Right now, they're thinking about that Trist that you already mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I think the Tristana, for me, is actually a higher priority than the Varus, because there's a lot of safety in that Tristana, and a lot of playmaking and hyperscaling, whereas the Varus, you really do need tanks to operate, or a protection support, a very potent protection support, to get the maximum out of your DPS, because Varus is no longer that poke champion from far away. He's an auto attack based, use your passive, get a lot of these auto attacks off, and just have that DPS uptime. But with a 575 range, you do have to be in the threat range of things like the Ryze, the Tristana, to output that DPS.
And on the side of Cloud9, you've also got to be looking at the fact that one thing that Tristana is sort of notorious for, the buffering of the rocket jump. People constantly call for remakes in the Twitch chat, constantly spamming stuff about how it seems completely broken because you can buffer it properly during the cast animation to get out of CC. And against something like Zoe that will literally kill you from 100% HP to 0 when you get CC'd, being able to buffer out the Sleepy Trouble bubble is pretty big.
Oh, I saw Azale try that once, and he still got killed. He jumped away.
I saw that same clip.
He jumped away.
He jumped away, but the Zoe read him like a book.
Yeah, and I was like, in this situation, is it more optimal to jump into the Zoe? Probably.
Mind games.
Damage, the damage of the Paddle Star goes up the longer it travels, so getting in your face probably better. But
jump right into her and only lose 3/4 of your health instead. But
instead of I'll take it.
It's not an insta-give. Cloud9, they'll ban away 2 supports in the Alistar and the Braum. The power of the melee supports in the Relic Shield AD carry overheal fleet footwork meta, very, very potent, so they want to take some of that off the table. Gnar and Camille banned out by the Golden Guardians, looking at that matchup that might be difficult for the Gangplank, wanting to make sure Lorlo gets off the ground.
Does he play Lucian?
Ooh.
Lucian, Vladimir, there's a decent amount of picks that you could pick here into the Gangplank and have an okay time. The Gnar.
He's smiling.
Ooh, the Kled.
Could he actually go for this?
Yeah,
we don't see a lot of Kled. Yeah, we don't see a lot of it, though.
Yeah.
That's what... Okay. Kled locked in.
Interesting.
Kled's one of my favorite characters in League of Legends, man. He's so rambunctious. He's got some of the best quotes.
I see a lot of similarities between the two of you.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
But yes, I definitely think that this Kled is a little bit of a curveball here. It's more for the team and just engaging. Well, I don't think they're going to throw in curveballs on Golden Guardian side.
You can't just hover the Riven when you've already got the Gangplank locked in. You're not tricking anybody, Golden Guardians. They will lock themselves in the Taric for some more team fight potential, and it looks like Jarvan is going to be the final pick there for contracts in the jungle.
For Svenskeren, I feel like you just take Sejuani here, and if you really want to mess things up, you go for a Gragas or potentially a Lee Sin.
Ooh.
That would be very sneaky focused into the protection, and I forgot about her.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she's been banned so much.
Speaking of sneaking past the ban phases, we get both Zoe and Evelynn in the same game. It should be a lot of fun to watch between these two squads. Again, I'm especially going to be paying attention to Hai in this mid lane on what he can do with this Zoe. So often banned. Is this going to be the game where we see why it's banned all the time? Or maybe this encourages a couple other teams to let it slip by now and then.
I do want to see how Jensen handles this champion that a lot of people have said is a little bit overtuned and very hard to deal with. But Hai, if you think about his shot calling and his rotations and his picks, that's kind of where he shines, is those skirmishes, right?
Right.
Even Sneaky was talking about it. Hai knows when to take those fights, and last year it was kind of up in the air with when he was on FlyQuest. It's like, are they going to take this fight? Because they recognize very quickly. And with Zoe, you can definitely catch people in rotation and can pop people very quickly.
At the same time, want to see what Svenskeren does about this Zoe pick, because Zoe's kind of deceptive, I think. Because when you get her ult, people are like, oh my gosh, she's got this 10-second little blink. It's like a mini flash. The thing is, it brings you back to where you were. It's not true mobility in that it can get you away from something. Svenskeren on this Evelynn has a lot of kill potential. This champion's very dangerous in the jungle. I want to see if he sets up that tent in the mid lane, decides to camp out for a little while, and see if he can put that Zoe behind.
Yeah, the Evelynn plus Ryze combination is actually incredibly scary. The root into the charm, very hard to dodge. And as Zoe, like you said, no true escape. We'll see what happens in this game where high-end contracts go up against their old team.
Let's see if they can make the same kind of a statement that Afromu did previously, beating his old squad, taking down that banner that he came from. They'll definitely have their work cut out for them. The first game that Golden Guardians played of the season yesterday, not too impressive from them. Didn't go the way they wanted it to. This, their chance at redemption.
Yeah, Clutch able to beat out the Golden Guardians in that matchup, and now we're seeing them up against C9 here, and I'm looking at those minion dematerializers. Ryze, Zoe, and the Taric have all ended up taking them. The Taric one is the one that stands out to me because he's not going to be making use of the extra damage to the minions that it gives you later. This is more for, I'm going to use minion dematerializer on a cannon minion to either give ourselves a better back timer, ruin the enemy's back timer and push under turret, or potentially roam. Those are the three ways that you would use the minion dematerializer. Whereas I think for the Ryze, you definitely want to get those minion dematerializers out quickly so that your EQ can kill the whole wave.
And I love the fact that Minion Dematerializer has actually become a thing, because when Runes Reforged came out, that thing was the biggest meme in the entire Rune set. Everybody was like, what do I do? What do I use this thing for? What do I even do with this? But now they've kind of found the use for it. It's about the back timers, like you said. It's about more pushing capability. It's all just about those very subtle advantages that you can earn with it. We'll have to see exactly how the teams decide to go about using those advantages this game, as Contract will be getting a leash from his bottom lane at his red. Sven will be doing the same thing at his red, but from his top laner.
And those minion dematerializers, just talk about them one more time. The first time I saw it was there was a Ryze one trick in Korea that started it, and I was watching Faker play against it, and then from then on, people really just started to be like, oh, is this good? Is there a certain break point? And it definitely helps the Ryze roam, even though he was already quite good at doing so. But it helps him take those cannon minions out too. So
nice stun there. Matt just not willing to let Smoothie walk up completely haphazardly, but Matt and Deftly going up against Sneaky and Smoothie. This is a sort of a fun matchup to see, because Sneaky and Smoothie have proven themselves as one of the duos to look out for in the bottom lane in the North American LCS, right? Like, these guys are an established duo, and they're going up against players that have not established themselves as a duo. I mean, you're looking at Deftly coming out of the Challenger Series. You're looking at Matt, who was on the Team Liquid roster in 2017 that did not see much success. Yeah. So if you're looking at this bottom lane, you're seeing a pretty generally considered successful bottom lane versus a very much unproven bottom lane. So for Golden Guardians, you want to make that statement. You want to say, here's the proof.
You want to be able to take that to the bottom lane, especially the established one, right? Like Sneaky Smoothie. Sneaky's been around for so long. He's played, I believe he's the person who's played the most games on the same team in all of North America. So he's been on C9 for ages.
Ever since C9 was a thing, C9 Sneaky was a thing. He just has been that constant presence on this team.
He's been the rock for sure. But in this top lane, though, it's actually interesting because Licorice has Grasp. This is actually, I believe, one of the first Grasps that I've seen in the top lane. And, oh.
Paddlestar with the Ignite. And keep in mind, that's not a real Ignite. That's a fake Ignite. It still does the same damage as a real Ignite. Yep, it still feels real, but it is not real. It is just a W.
Oh, the fact that that is so powerful, and it's, like you said, it's the same impact of an actual Ignite. It just makes it so hard to play against.
We'll have to keep an eye on exactly what High ends up getting from these minion drops. The one that's probably the most notorious for Zoe, one of the most frustrating ones to play against, the teleport.
Yeah.
If he should get the teleport and be able to get himself a great back timing, or potentially even a rotation to another lane with it, that can really swing the early game in the favor of the Golden Guardians. Sleeping Trouble Bubble not going to hit on that one. Remember, the bubble actually has a very short range if you only fire it across normal terrain. You have to go through some sort of an obstruction, some sort of a wall, if you want it to have that extra range.
Well, pistol versus pistol top lane.
Yeah. Honorable duel.
10 paces.
Yep, 10 paces. The clock strikes noon. Turn and shoot. Speaking of turning and shooting, Jensen can't turn, but High is definitely going to shoot.
Man, when we changed the health bars too to the new updated look, and the fact that they shake whenever like big
red
chunk of
chunk.
damage, I shake too because it just it's disgusting.
That one's got a sting. Contracts moving into the river, has to clear out both the normal ward and the zombie ward. Drops down his own control ward to just keep a little bit of an extra eye out for Svenskeren.
Yeah, and we see a decent amount of zombie wards here. I believe there also might be a zombie ward from Licorice on the top side because he placed a ward in his tri-brush and then it later had to be picked up by Contracts. And I believe Svenskeren has it as well. And Svenskeren also has a Spell Thieves. We see this on Evelyn, upgraded to Frostfang, very frequently. Because of the fact that you can just open up on somebody and you get those 3 Qs and you'll get all of that extra gold and the Bandit passive, it helps you scale very quickly. And it doesn't even hurt you or hinder you in terms of damage output.
Plus, you end up getting the Spooky Ghosts, which help you for chasing people down, setting up your entire combo. Evelyn has the damage. The thing is, you just have to set that charm on them, wait a couple seconds for it to actually prime the stun. If you have the Spooky Ghosts, waiting really isn't that big of a deal.
I don't actually see too many Evelyns upgraded all the way, interestingly enough.
Maybe that's more of just a solo cute cheese.
Maybe.
There's a reason I'm not a professional player, Zyrene.
I mean, the thing is I've saw most of the Frost Queen's claim Frostfang, and recently I've seen people actually go the distance with the Frost Queens, kind of realizing just how good it is. So he might actually do that, like you said, but it's not something that I've seen in the last month or so. But Contracts looking for sneaky, but just a flash.
Flash away. Contracts decides to try to go back in, see if he can catch him looking the other way, but not quite. Sneaky's more than aware enough to get away from that one. Contracts not finding the knock-up with the EQ that he wants. Walks back away.
Well, teleport from Licorice to the top side to match the teleport from Lorlo from earlier.
Ooh, nice stun though.
Yeah.
But Tom Kench.
Yep, no rocket jump buffer or anything like that. And I think the Tom Kench is actually important here because it was picked immediately after the Zoe to make sure that they have something for the Sleepy Trouble bubble later. If somebody gets slept, boom, just gobble them up and they'll be safe.
Which is one of the best ways to actually deal with that, because Zoe does require time to set up the Paddle Star. She needs the duration of that Sleepy Trouble bubble to make sure she gets that maximum damage huge chunk that makes her poke effective. And Tom Kench can do a very good job at denying that. Top side 49 to 56 CS up there, so the pick for Licorice working out well enough. Tiamat up and running on the Kled versus the Sheen for the GP.
Yeah, and you have to watch Licorice, and there's kind of a microscope over him right now because he's that new guy on this team,
New
that
kid on the block.
rookie. And another big thing about it is yesterday he didn't really have a good game because he was constantly dove, where Svenskeren was sectioned out of the jungle by Rainover, so he had to abandon the top side, and Licorice stayed under turret, got dove multiple times. So he didn't really have that great of a game, but was able to come back in those team fights later. But now it just looks like he's going for some more lane domination against this GP. Needs to, like we just saw him do, board up the river so that he isn't in a position where he'll get ganked by Contracts.
And when you're a rookie, there's always extra pressure, right? Because nobody actually knows how you're going to perform on the professional stage. People, of course, can speculate. People can make educated guesses. But at the end of the day, nobody can actually say he's going to be this good or he's going to be this bad. You've just got to show what you can actually do. Talk only goes so far.
And I think that, you know, even he doesn't know exactly how well he will do either. I mean, I got to talk to him a few times and hold on, wait, damage,
Oh,
damage.
no. Hello. Oh. That's only 2/3 of his HP.
Must go back, do not pass go, do not collect $200.
Collect another trouble bubble if you stick around, though.
Oh, that
Not
don't
exactly
do
what he
that
wants to
one.
do. Not exactly what he wants to do. Does use the Summoner Spellbook to switch out for teleport and get back to the lane a little bit sooner. Svenskeren will charm that Scuttle Crab. I don't know how you charm a crab, but Svenskeren knows the secret art. Drowsy onto the Tom Kench, and... Oh!
Nobody saw that.
Nope. Nobody was watching. Don't worry, High. Contract's trying to get himself away now. Oh, here comes the attack from Sven and Jensen. High forced to flash away and use the cleanse. Those were both real summoner spells, by the way. Sleepy Trouble level that time, finding its way onto Smoothie along with the Paddle Star. Matt definitely trying to go for the twist. And there you go. There's that buffer that we're talking about. As long as you know how to time that, you can get out of almost anything. Practically feels like a Gangplank orange at some points. A Gangplank orange built-in dash.
So Gangplank is just a Tristana that doesn't leave. Is it
Yes.
just-
Gangplank is a Tristana that doesn't leap and has a cooldown on the range part of his auto attack.
Okay. I feel like Tristana would just Top Tristana, Huni.
Top
do it.
lane, top lane. If there's a man to do it, it would be Huni, but he's not in this game. Instead, Lorlo and Licorice still trying to see which one of these two is going to be more effective on these champions, because Gangplank and Kled, these aren't two champions that you look at like something like a Maokai or a Galio or something that's going to be low econ, still useful if it falls behind. Kled and GP need money. They need to be relevant to the current pace of the game. And if they're not, well, tough luck.
Wow. Sorry, I was just looking at High clear those caster minions at level 8. He already used all of his minion dematerializers, so don't know exactly which ones he used them on. Of course, it only adds for the certain type of minion, caster, melee, or siege.
I expect to use it on each kind at least once, because the first use does give you much more extra damage on that type of minion. So Svenskeren and Contracts both not finding really a whole lot of anything just yet. You can see the Tracker's Knives completed. Free boots coming in on both these junglers. One of my favorite runes in the entire Reforge arsenal.
Free ass boots.
Free ass boots. But Stopwatch is also in there, as have been proven to be an incredibly effective.
Exactly, and that's why I think a lot of games we're seeing a little bit safer early games, because the early game will happen. People will invade each other like level 2 or 3 and like look for each other, try to find something. But then after that happens, you end up in this area where people are farming to get to their level 6s, their ultimates. If you're a laner, you hit level 6, you know, around 6 minutes, around 5:45 depending. And then junglers hit him at like 6:30, 7 minutes, depending on how your farm is going. And that's when Stopwatch is active. So if you want to go for a tower dive with your level 6, it lines up at the 6 minutes where stopwatches come online. So you don't really get to do those dives immediately that you would normally like to do with those ultimates.
Licorice getting rowdy here in the top lane, jumping onto Lorlo, taking off about half his HP. Of course, Lorlo will have some sustain through the oranges, but at the end of the day, that Kled damage is nothing that you can just sort of scoff at and disrespect. Really going to have to be aware of where he is and what's going on. Jensen looking to make the flash into the root. The damage comes in from Sven, but there's your stopwatch to provide High with the opportunity for the outplay. Svenskeren gets himself back, but he's not able to find the execute. Jensen still looking to get away, can't quite do it. Gangplank ulti brings down the cannons, but it will not be enough. Everybody somehow walks away. Oh, could this be the charge?
Licorice, the
Get in
rook
there.
in the back.
Want to ride that chocobo.
Oh, he found Svenskeren!
He's going in. Svenskeren going to be put to sleep. The drowsy comes out. The sleepy trouble bubble not quite able to find the mark. It's still High grabbing the first blood, but he dies for it. Contract's going to be killed number 2. It's a 2-for-1 for C9.
The reinforcement there from Licorice to help them get those kills, and he picks up both of them.
We talked about this kid being the rookie. We talked about that making him the question mark on the team. Prove yourself. Show us what you got. He rides into the mid lane and he finds 2.
Oh, sneaky, gonna get eaten up there.
Yep, gobbled to safety, exactly what the Tom Kench is built for.
Yeah, but it still looks like definitely has that lane pressure. We saw this back at the beginning of Worlds where, you know, Varus was kind of the lane counter to Tristana, but then it was Ardent Sensor really was just better on the Tristana later. So they're trying to find some advantage here, and that's gonna be a bit of damage.
Nice force out of the flash from that enemy AD carry. Means definitely is going to have to be especially careful for the next 5 minutes. Playing the Varus, that's the other thing compared to the Tristana. Sneaky's always going to have that exit. He's always going to have rocket jump. He even has his ultimate for a secondary escape mechanism. Varus, he's stuck. He's in the same spot unless he's got the flash, so you really got to be mindful of exactly where you are if you're definitely at this point. Cloud9 enjoying themselves a very slight gold lead, 300 to 400 gold, nothing huge. Honestly, just the difference between the fact that they have 2 kills compared to 1.
Yeah, right now, junglers, bottom lane. Both of them on this side right here. Oh, Matt missing that stun. Sneaky with just the move upward. And right here, Contract's warded on his red, and he's trying to, he's not doing it just yet. He's seeing if Svenskeren will go for it, and he's hovering. He's shadowing the bottom lane.
Svenskeren really wanting to see if he can make something happen here. Gets the invis, starts prowling around. Remember, post 6 is when Evelyn's invisibility comes online, so the entire way that you play against this champion changes.
Ooh, Ryze is here too.
Once that rolls around, Cloud9 looking to make their move. Stopwatch comes through, but definitely still going to be stuck without the flash. There's no way out. Baron going to be stuck. Smoothie gets him to safety. Exactly what you said earlier, Zyrene.
How do you counter Obnoxious? even more obnoxious champion.
He gets him out. They make their escape. They take the turret on the way there. Cloud9 up 2,000 gold now. Svenskeren still looking to maybe make more happen. Sleepy Trouble Bubble not going to find the mark. TP coming in. Licorice. The cavalry will arrive momentarily. Svenskeren looking to take down Contracts. Your Taric ulti comes in. Cosmic Radiance, Svenskeren nearly going to be taken down. High grabs the kill onto him. Contracts protected as Licorice able to find the kill onto Matt. Gives that one over to Jensen. The chase continues. Jensen wants to go on to High here. Moving into position ahead of that blast cone. Licorice going to be able to find that pincer. High goes forward, immediately goes back, and Jensen goes home 300 gold richer after picking up that kill. But now you've got Lorlo into the mix. Licorice looking to remount onto that Scarl. And he's out. He gets his mount back. The man makes his escape.
I can't even see the red on that health bar. He got basically all that Scarl back, and that's it. Licorice is basically a walking dead man right now.
Perfect timing. That's why Cled's so fun to watch.
Let's watch this again, because this was just a fiasco in the bottom lane. People showing up late, people showing up, and watch this, definitely, he gets the Evelyn charm prepped on him. He's walking up slowly. Here it comes. That keys him off. Jensen's already there. The stopwatch through it. Contracts, then wants to get a counter kill onto Svenskeren, but Svenskeren gets eaten up after getting hit by the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, spat out, and then the passive also heals you based on your AP. So he comes around the side at about half HP, plus that red buff giving him a little bit more regen, and they push forward, and then the TP comes out for the flank here. It's just a bait to set them up as you have Svenskeren. But look at that, almost full HP again. The fight reset on Evelyn is so strong, and the GP ultimate from Lorlo to assist, but Lorlo eventually starts TPing when he realizes he needs to get into this fight. But this was really, from a macro standpoint, just kind of a fight that it looked like Golden Guardians didn't want to commit to, and C9 were fully committed on it from the start.
And that commitment pays off for Cloud9. They have themselves about a 3,000 gold lead now. 5 kills compared to 2. Still have that 1 turret compared to the 0 of their opponents. And Licorice, 2, 0, and 2 on this Kled. It's an unusual pick. He's the rookie. He's the guy that you wonder about, but he's doing work so far here in this game. Cleaver along with the Tiamat. Contracts coming in to make sure High stays safe. Charm is down, but High's got the damage! And Lorlo's got the kill. The cannons from downtown. As now they look to maybe make it too. Contract wanted to chase this one down. The Drowsy is there. Very nice. Ulti doesn't matter. High with the paddling.
That's a paddling for sure, Flowers. High from downtown uses the flash that he picked up to extend the range, even when Svenskeren used the ultimate backwards to disengage.
Golden Guardians find their fight. It goes fantastically for them. Lorlo now looking to go 1v1 against Licorice, but the Kled's too big. It's very hard to just fight him straight up like that. You're going to have to kite around. You're going to have to use the barrels and take those pot shots at him and take advantage of the fact that you can poke them.
Yeah, this, once again, we're seeing these long fights. Dodges the Q from Rise by ducking under, and right here, when that hits Jensen, he's a goner. The slam on top of the trouble bubble, extra damage, and then it was the GP ulti. And right here, let's see this. Out? No.
Right back. Oh, that's dirty.
I mean, people used to meme about, oh man, they killed me from a screen away. Legitimately, just pick more than Italy Spears. Oh, wait. Flanking here from Svenskeren.
Charm onto Lorlo. Lands his damage there. Flash away, enough to keep him safe. The ultimate not ready to go on Svenskeren, so can't finish that one off. Meanwhile, top side.
Yeah, they swapped the lane away. Oh man, all these outer turrets are very low for Golden Guardians. They're about to lose their top, their mid is also low, and they've already lost their bottom turret to that play earlier. So C9 are still, even though we're seeing Golden Guardians have some scrappy fights and it's 4 to 5 in kills, it's this turret advantage that's really helping C9 out, and it will continue to help them as it looks like they're close to breaking that outer line.
Golden Guardians have managed to hold that line for now, though, and that's the most important thing, right? It doesn't matter if your turret has 1% HP or 100% HP, it doesn't give your opponent's gold until it's dead. So Golden Guardians will hold on to that for now, at least, as they do pick themselves up the Rift Herald, giving that one over to Contract.
A 4-man Rift Herald. So very, very set on getting that for themselves so that they can at least get a turret back. And meanwhile, it's a frozen lane bottom. You have to watch out, though, because when your lane is frozen bottom, that means that you're putting your team at a disadvantage because that top laner can go roam to another lane and make a play. And you can see Licorice is already set up mid here to potentially follow up another root/charm combo that we've seen already happen multiple times. And I talked about after Champions, like, that combo is so frustrating to play against.
Yeah, really difficult to deal with. Jensen not going to be stepping into the Sleepy Trouble bubble trap. Manages to clear out the ward without that becoming an issue. Finds the root, sidesteps the bubble once again. Takes high down below, about half HP. One more big hit should do it, but he can't quite find that.
Oh,
in goes Licorice, but that's not quite the distance he needed on the charge. Needs to retreat now to avoid the bubble into the Gangplank ulti, but they should be able to find the turret. One more hit will do it, but they can't find the opportunity to land that, as now Cloud9 just needs this next wave to fly.
Yeah, they're going to bring all 5 people here mid. They're going to be like, everybody group up, hit this thing once. Boom, they're sneaky to get it.
Sneaky grabs the damage there. Svenskeren and Licorice invading the enemy jungle. If there's wards down by Golden Guardians, it just looks like Licorice, because you cannot see Svenskeren through that invisibility right now. Sven will take that red buff for himself, provide him some extra regeneration, as well as make it more effective in combat. Baron spawning now in 4 seconds. Next Drake currently alive is the Cloud Drake, which hasn't been taken at all so far. That's the difference between this game and last game's, Irene. When Infernal spawns first, you get it.
Yeah.
When Cloud spawns first, you don't hang around that part of the map too much.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into a debate about, you know, the viability of Cloud Drakes and stuff, but it's very obvious that players really want the Infernals for the team fights, and the Clouds are something that they definitely prioritize turrets higher. And Licorice doesn't have ulti. He's just looking for a flank here, and it's a convergence by about 7 people mid.
Rift Herald getting summoned by Contracts. Svenskeren here. High gonna be jumped on. 4 versus 5. There comes your Jarvan. Okay, Cosmic Radiance going to be coming down. Licorice knocked off of his mount. Licorice nearly going to be taken down here. Gobbled up to safety by Mooney. There comes your damage. Lorlo grabbing the kill. 1 for 0 so far. Golden Guardian. Shelly rams her head right into the turret. They look to push this one down. Take an objective along with the fight victory. The gold lead closed now down to 1,000 gold. Trouble Bubble nearly finding Sneaky, but nearly is not enough. Golden Guardians back away with the win.
That was a 5-on-5 fight, but only 1 member dropped, and it was Smoothie there, but they got the turret on Golden Guardian's side, so we're only looking at that 1 turret disadvantage here for them, so about 1,000 plus gold, but, oh.
Trouble Bubble just has a very slow projectile time.
Yeah. Quick, was that a real flash or wrong, or a fake one?
Because of the fact that his flash is already on CD, I'm pretty sure that was a fake one because the flash is
you're
on
right.
CD.
You got me.
Yeah, that was a meme flash.
Good eye, Flash, just testing it.
All right, Lorlo, Sterix Gauge procs, popping the barrel, throwing the ulti. I don't know if this is going to be enough, though. He's trying to stay alive, but for the orange cooldown. Stopwatch enough? That comes down to save him. Lorlo walks away.
2.5 seconds, baby!
2.5 seconds. We talked about how long that is in League of Legends time, and today it was long enough to keep this man alive. Lorlo walking out of that one, maintaining the deathless scoreline.
Yeah, that stopwatch puts a damper on a whole bunch. But top lane, though, Jensen actually getting chunked out, and he's able to get away with the ultimate.
Jensen stays safe. So many close calls this game that aren't actually resulting in kills. Let's take another look at what happened on this one. Around.
Yep, his Flash is already down. Hits Sneaky with it. Oh, Smoothie was like, I'm on my way! But not quite. Man,
not close enough.
This pick, like, I thought it was going to be a super good pick for High, but I didn't realize it was going to be something that allows him to really go up against Jensen and have 100% KP, affect the map, roam around and play that skirmish style. He's up right now in terms of levels, and he's doing a fantastic job for Golden Guardians, whereas yesterday, he had the most deaths on his team.
And when you reference this to the stat that we saw at the beginning of this match, the fact that High is currently 1-8 in his matchups against Jensen, this is a really good omen that he's been able to have this effect because apparently he struggles in this matchup. So you want to see this kind of effect. You want to see these kind of score lines and this impact.
Yeah, and we're seeing Contracts and High kind of buddy up here to go up against Jensen and Svenskeren, and it's been working out so far. Svenskeren ended up, kind of getting the worst of those fights in mid, and this Evelynn really does favor that roaming style, getting to those side lanes and picking, but the combination of the Ryze Evelynn, it looks like Golden Guardian said we know you want to play towards it, and they're able to kind of counter multiple times.
Clearing out some wards now. Remember, Baron is live 23 minutes into the game with only 1,000 gold separating the teams. A big Baron play or even a team fight over Baron could determine a lot about the remaining pace of this game. Both sides likely very aware of that, playing this carefully, not wanting to give away a game for nothing. I always look at League of Legends games as being decided one of two ways. Either you make a big play, you set yourself up, you find the success, or you let your opponent make a bad play. And neither one of these teams wants to be the one that gives that bad play over to their opponent. Golden Guardians pushing this wave out here in the mid lane, Sneaky and Smoothie hanging around to just push it right back. You can see Smoothie staying ever so close to Sneaky, just in case High's waiting over the wall. He's not willing to let what happened last time happen again, while Licorice continues the split push in the bottom lane, makes sure he gets the Demolish proc before backing away.
Yeah, Licorice actually behind about 1,200 gold right now. Even though he's 2-0 and 2, the Gangplank is just making bank constantly with the fact that he has the Klepto, and he also just has the Parlay extra damage, so like we saw there.
And that's why people are comfortable picking this champion the way they are, right? That's why we see this champion getting picked blindly. It's why we see it getting picked early, because of the fact that it's so safe in lane. You use the Klepto to provide yourself the extra potions, the extra sustain, you get money, and even if your opponent is making moves across the map, I mean, Lorlo's not doing poorly. He's literally just one assist behind his opponent, but he's got that extra money because he picked the champion he did.
Yeah, and really, I feel like Gangplank is kind of now the essence of the phrase, don't worry, we scale.
Yep.
Because he's going to scale. Whether you like it or not, he's going to get to that point. When we saw even yesterday where CLG was playing against C9, they camped the Gangplank, killed Licorice twice on it, and he was still having team fight impact with his barrels and his ultimate. And so Lorlo, he's in that spot now, but in a much better one. He wasn't camped. He's able to beat up thousands of gold now, and hold on.
Oh, damage comes through, and Smoothie's not quite able to get there to find the safety. Cosmic Radiance comes in. Contract's gonna be the target for now. Sneaky utilizing the stopwatch, giving himself okay. Damage onto Contracts. Licorice grabbing the killing spree, though, on too deftly. The retreat from the Golden Guardians, as now the counterattack from Cloud9 is in full force. Matt trying to get back. He's likely going to be taken down here. Licorice with the rampage, and C9 finds 2 for 0.
And they are just working around that cooldown of High's high, just constantly throwing out Sleepy Trouble bubbles, not really landing too many. Got one on Sneaky there later, and the first one on Jensen, but the Paddle Star not able to connect and do enough damage when you have this Kled up in the face of the Zoe.
And all this money is going on to Licorice. I mentioned at the beginning of this game how both of these champions need that, and he's getting it.
Watch this. This is actually a shield and a half there from Jensen. He would have been down a lot of HP if he hadn't have shielded there with the Seraph right before. But you see, Sneaky jump away. He's asleep, but he's far away from the fight. And now High's in a position where, who are you going to hit? I guess you hit Licorice, but this guy is tanky. He's up in your face. And Zoe really dislikes when people are up in her face because, like I said before, the Paddle Star, damage increases the further it travels. And so this Kled will ulti and get so many people up on that back line that it really just does reduce the damage of the Zoe by a lot, if you can get people up there.
One thing I really want to point out, as they've just become active Guardian Angels for both top laners. Gangplank and Kled both got to go down twice now, and for Kled it's even more annoying because of the fact that you have the Scarl and the ability to regenerate massive amounts of health through the remount mechanic. So Licorice is going to be incredibly difficult to take down, as now they look to make the dive onto Lorlo. The damage is there, the turret falls to Demolish. Lorlo getting himself back, the Steric's gauge proc enough to keep him shielded and alive, but the turret dropping is what C9 came for.
Yeah, exactly. They wanted that Demolish. They're actually running unsure, but that Demolish has actually done a lot of work for Licorice so far. Been able to push up turret. And I believe Smoothie also probably has it.
You actually see quite a few people taking it. It's a very effective tool for taking down turrets, considering so much of taking down the turrets just seems to be chipping away at them.
Yeah.
When one of the chips turns into a chunk, it's pretty easy to take the thing down.
What's interesting, because I've talked to a decent amount of supports, like Aphromoo, for instance, really likes Unflinching as opposed to Bond of Stone, or Font of Life, I guess is what it's called now, Font of Life. And those all share the same spot. So the fact that Demolish is being taken on, I believe, multiple people here is actually pretty interesting.
Cloud9's got themselves a 3,500 gold lead 28 minutes in. Infernal Drake is spawning next. Baron is still live. Neither team has really made a big effort towards that just yet. Cloud9 seems to be pretty happy playing this split push game, utilizing the pressure from Lorlo, or utilizing the pressure from Licorice against Lorlo, excuse me. But Lorlo's still farming up a Storm. Drowsy finds its way onto Smoothie, who can't save himself, but not quite close enough to land the paddle star. Could be the second time we see that this game, coming up just a little bit short to flambe that catfish.
Yeah, I like that we don't show the Zoe going back and then firing the paddle star, so we're just as surprised as the player is when they get hit by it, or when it falls a little bit short.
Looking at where we are in the game, Cloud9 with pressure in both side lanes. Golden Guardians just seem strictly reactionary at this point. They're moving back and forth. They're trying to stop the Rise. They're trying to stop the Kled. They're just trying to keep themselves afloat here as they figure out how to address this Cloud9 problem.
Yeah, they're trying to scale up a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like the Rise and the Tristana both scale incredibly well. I understand they have a Gangplank and a Zoe, but I don't know. I feel like the Zoe, you need a little bit more vision control. Wrestle it back is kind of the process they're going through now.
It's the LMS strategy. Go to 55 minutes, coin flip a team fight.
Whoa.
We still got another 25 minutes to go if that's what they're doing, so buckle your seatbelts. 51,500 gold to 55,500 gold, 4K lead. It slowly builds for C9, and now they're looking to build it more quickly, moving onto the Baron. That will force the ult out of Lorlo. Gangplank not having that available now for the next, what is that, about minute and a half. Means that they will have that window to work with for the side of Cloud9.
Okay, so I just checked up on it. It looks like Smoothie has the font, has unflinching for himself, so he doesn't have the demolish here. It's just Licorice, but I guess when they took down that mid turret, he was close enough and actually contributing to it. But the fact that he was in this split push champion, taking that split push keystone, or not keystone, but I guess rune.
Normal rune.
I gotta not call them masters. Hold on, Smoothie.
Cosmic Radiance comes down to prevent the counterattack. Is it going to be there in time? It will, to keep Matt alive for just a moment longer. Sneaky still able to grab the kill. Is now Lorlo going to have to be careful, finding himself here in the middle of the fight. Contract's looking to run back now as well. Licorice taken low by the proc on the Blighted Quiver from the rain of arrows as High tries to get back. Barrel to cover their escape. One dead on the side of the Golden Guardians. Cloud9, they have Svenskeren in position to maybe make a flank here. And he bought it. And good, tries to go for it. Drowsy going to be coming through, uses the ulti to get away. Smoothie there for extra protection. Svenskeren almost beats Disaster.
And he's going to go up to about, I would say, maybe 80% HP on Svenskeren. Just through the heal when it comes through. Oh, he actually backed, so it's not going to work. But the passive, it heals so much.
This does give Sneaky the opportunity to solo down the Inferno.
Yes.
It's still a pretty big win for Cloud9, just for that.
Yeah, able to push them off. And I like that Cloud9 are just going for straight-up team fights. We're seeing them force a lot. They're using the Kled ultimate. They're just rushing up because if you're grouping as 5, the Zoe is way less effective because she loves picking people off. You want to be able to just divide the map up and catch people in rotation, but High hasn't been able to do that for a while. The Tom Kench, when they're grouped up, able to save people, and also there's some shields that are coming through here too, with having the Seraph's Embrace for Jensen, as well as having the Zonias for himself too.
The Farm Fest continues though. Golden Guardians, don't worry, we're scaling.
Yep.
Trying to get there. Well, Flank, one item left to build. Yumu's Ghostblade now completed.
Yeah, and I think you get to the point where you don't say, don't worry, we scale. You just say, we scale. You do have to worry at this point if you're Golden Guardians.
You scratch out the don't worry part, because there is a reason to worry as Cloud9 continues to build leads for himself, up to 5,000 gold now. Sneaky still looking to push further. High grabbing some damage onto him, and by some damage, I mean half his health bar. Oh, wow! That bubble had some stretch to it.
That like had his
name on
it.
Jensen, the one who now gets captured, but the classic Rise escape plan. Zonia's Hourglass into the Realm Warp means there's really nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, it's the Zonia swimming pool. Just get him right out.
Lorlo continuing to defend down here against Licorice. The thing is, once Lorlo gets to full build, he needs to be able to deal with Licorice. That's the thing. The Gangplank's farming. He's scary. He's strong. But if he still can't deal with the Kled, what's it worth?
Yeah, and the Kled's more focused on team fights by far.
Yeah.
He's way focused on just getting in there. And here we go for flank.
There comes your Kled coming around from behind with the charge onto High. Matt's going to be the first one to fall. High tries to stay safe. The root comes through. The kill will follow. Jensen taking that one. The damage down onto Licorice, but he will revive through the power of the Guardian Angel. They're trying to keep him alive. The barrel not quite timed the way it needs to be. It's 2 for 0, and one of those 2 is critically that Zoe that would otherwise stop them from maybe making a move onto Baron. Contracts is still here. He's healing up from the Warmog. You've still got Deathly and Lorlo for damage, but Cloud9, will they go for this?
Well, Jensen cleared the ward. That'll give him some temporary vision. So they don't have to worry. And as soon as they know Svenskeren is on this side.
All right, looks like he heals up to
TP flank.
2/3. TP flank coming in. Jensen maybe in some trouble. Contracts, maybe their target. Here's Svenskeren. Needs to be careful, but he actually drops. Not able to get himself away from danger in time. Jensen very low from behind. Licorice now with another flank of his own. Now on to Lorlo. Guardian Angel proc tier. This one will not find value. Big difference in the payoff of these items for these two different top laners. Licorice saves his own life. Lorlo ends up just postponing his inevitable defeat here, as now Cloud9 still has themselves a man advantage. The problem is, when you don't have your jungler, Baron becomes very, very risky.
Yep. They don't have their jungler, but at the same time, it may just be a bait. We'll see. Contracts is going to have to walk in and check. They're still doing it, though. It's just Sneaky did this yesterday, where it was him and Smoothie zoning people out. The AD carry zoning, incredibly powerful.
He will not let Contracts anywhere near this.
Sneaky is a monster right now. Wait.
Thing is about monsters though, Zyrene, you ever read a fairy tale? Monsters get killed. And right now, High is the hero of that tale, taking down the enemy AD carry. That'll at least add about 50 seconds to this Baron push that Cloud9 wants to start.
Yeah, and the reason I said Sneaky's a monster here is he's doing the zoning strat, but he's also 3 levels up over Deathblade. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but Licorice here, the flanks are perfect. The flank onto High in the back line forces the Zonias out of him that he had picked up, and then they're able to pick him up after they're rolling right over the turret.
And this GA, oh, not quite what you needed there. Smoothie has really been where he needed to be this game, except for that one sort of Mimi kill in the mid lane onto
Sneaky had stopwatch then, too.
Okay, so we'll blame Sneaky for that
Yeah.
one. So now we can say Smoothie has always been where he needed to be. He just trusted Sneaky too much.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Smoothie's been on point with the Tahm Kench. This champion catches a lot of flack because he's sort of, people call him a fun killer sometimes because he always shuts down plays and people are always scared to do something against Tahm Kench. But a well-played Kench is just such an effective tool for making sure your team doesn't get collapsed on or jumped on. And for Smoothie, that's awesome. We talked about these guys, how these are an established duo, about how there is that trust there is that coordination, that synergy. And Smoothie, not just with Sneaky, but with the rest of Cloud9, has been there time and again. I got you, bro. Don't worry.
Yeah, and so far has been, don't worry for C9. He's been doing great. Sneaky, level 17, definitely still struggling. Level 15, 2 down right now. And Sneaky is now just pretty much at that almost full build. You will switch out that last item. Buy another DPS one if you want to get rid of that shield, but he's just a siege monster. The persona that I talked about outside the laning phase from the Varus, the counter doesn't really matter too much anymore. And with the Tahm Kench, even if you get caught by something, you're going to be fine. The Tahm Kench will be able to back you up, so Sneaky can play with a little bit more bravado and walk forward.
And you've got these super annoying cannon minions that sit 1,000 range away and bombard the turret too, so even though it takes a really long time, they will just stand there and hit the thing over and over and over again until eventually it takes it low enough that Sneaky's confident that he can say, all right, I'll walk up until this hits.
Yeah, this is a 1-2-1, but the Evelynn is going between lanes, and hold on, they're collapsing.
Smoothie and Sneaky holding the line. Svenskeren on the flank. Contracts backing himself away. Loses about half HP. High going to be rotating around now too, just in case. The top lane push is going to be shut down. Bottom lane push. No turret there to defend under. Svenskeren still hanging out between these lanes. Spooky ghosts.
Yeah?
Ah, the real ones. Yep, fully evolved item.
Finally picked it up there. Sat on the Frostfang for a very long time, but yeah, like you said, his second to last item.
Sneaky and Smoothie continuing to push up here in the mid lane. Explosive charge down onto the turret, blows it to smithereens. And now you've got 3 exposed inhibitors on the side of the Golden Guardian. Times are dire. Something has to happen. Eye's going to be taken low. Licorice sounds the horn. He charges in. What can they find? They're able to get Matt. They're able to get Contracts. They're able to get Deathly. It's 3 dead on the side of the Golden Guardians. About to be 4, but the remaining 2 get away. Cloud9, 5 men strong in the base. Look to end this one right here.
Cloud9, High, he's going to try to stop his old team here.
I don't know how well that's going to work, Cyrene. They've got minions onto the Nexus turrets. One of those is already down. Demolish is ticking away. Licorice should be able to end this second one. High still just doing his damnedest to try to defend here, but instead he's going to be brought down on his own stairs to the fountain. And 38 minutes in, Cloud9 defeat the Golden Guardians with a couple more ticks of the minion auto attacks. Into the fountain they might try to go, but instead the game just ends.
And Licorice, a smile on his face after yesterday's performance where they were able to come back, ends this game 7-0 and 6.
What a performance. When I said this guy needs to step up, he jumped all the way up. This was exactly what you want to see out of your top laner. When I see somebody lock in Kled, I see a guy who's going to be able to split push, who's going to be able to duel, and who's going to flank and provide a massive amount of threat into the enemy back line. All 3 of those boxes, check, check, check. He did exactly what I wanted to see from that champion this game.
I really liked the flanks, both the one that he had with the collapse with the ultimate, and then in that same fight later on, about 30 seconds later, he's TPing in on a flank. I'm really liking that type of style because this became a very scrappy, split push oriented game with the Ryze in one lane and then this dominant Kled in the other.
And I mean, we talked at the beginning of this about how in the offseason, some people were like, oh, Cloud9's offseason plans, these roster swaps, is this really good for the team? Is this really the direction they want to be heading in? A lot of people were big fans of Impact and were like, is this trade for Licorice going to work, trade out for Licorice going to work out? And if he can keep putting up numbers like that, if he can keep having performances like that, I'd say the answer is yes. But the rest of the team, we talked about Smoothie doing his role, constantly keeping the team safe. Sneaky, constantly pushing up. I love watching Sneaky play AD carry because he's so confident in his movements. It's like you mentioned, dodging away from the stuns, those slight adjustments. He doesn't waste time overcorrecting. He doesn't waste time playing too safe. He's always where he needs to be, which makes him a lot of fun to watch as an AD carry.
Yeah, and Cloud9, a whole bunch of the criticism towards them as well was, Jensen kind of has to carry everybody sometimes. And it's like one person steps up, another one slumps, and back and forth. And finding consistency has always been an issue for them. But if Licorice is able to have more performances like this, they'll have multiple carries across the map. And that's something that bodes well for them moving forward because that was definitely a worry, like you said, with the rookie coming in.
A solid Cloud9 victory. But to get their thoughts on that game, let's throw it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Captain Flowers. Solid to say the least as Cloud9 moved to 2-0 at the end of week 1. But really what I want to focus on here is the 2 new additions to the roster. Again, during the offseason, one of the orgs that was criticized most for their moves was Cloud9. People saying that perhaps this was a downgrade, if anything, over Impact contracts being the previous holders of those 2 roles. So, Licorice, Sven Skaren, 2-0 week is a great way to start. But what's our thought on their individual performances?
Yeah, so a lot of times you'd expect C9 to be slow starters. And if that just means the first game where they were slow starters at the start of the week, that's it. But in this game, they came flying out of the gates, especially this 2v2, which turned into a 2v3 thanks to Licorice's run.
I mean, everyone played this super well. I love High going, using his ult to grab another flash to get out of that fight. They disengage it, back off, really nice skirmish. But Licorice has had priority in this top lane this entire time, having that counter pick. So he roams down, he's able to re-engage this fight as Sven Skaren does. He baits out the Jarvan going in. You see all the stopwatches getting popped. That's why it's so hype. And they eventually go in and get the double kill off the back of the Licorice run.
I mean, I gotta give props to the way that High played that. You called the DR for the pickup on the flash, but as well as the Drowsy on the stealth Sven Skaren as he's coming in. I mean, just incredibly well played from all sides. But to your point, it's the rookie on the team that makes the veteran play in roaming down to the mid lane to secure a double kill right off the start.
And he was in the disadvantageous matchup yesterday when he was getting invaded constantly by Darshan and Reignover. So he was very good to use that moment of pressure to make the roam, which doesn't happen often with rookie junglers. As soon as they're winning, they're like, great, it's not going bad. I'm going to continue to do this. He actually takes the risk to leave lane and makes a good play.
And Licorice in the Challenger scene, if people didn't watch him there, he was not like, I'm a tank player, I just hope my teammates carry me. He was a carry a primary portion of the season where he's playing things like Camille all the time and snowballing leads. And so you can maybe start looking forward to performances like this more often.
I mean, that seems to play perfectly into what you said yesterday, that the top lane feels like the X factor in League of Legends right now, right? In terms of what can be played there. We've seen Lucian top, we've still seen some tanks be prevalent at times, and more of those bruiser carries.
Yeah, I think mid lane actually is currently a little bit limited. It's actually a pretty small pool. It's the jungle and top lane where you really get to flex your team composition muscles and decide what you want to play. Look at the damage spread thanks a little bit to their team composition.
I mean, but that's so interesting, right? If those are the 2 roles where we're going to see kind of the most diversity, it's almost a little bit of a scary thought that the 2 newest members to the team are the ones who are charged with, kind of filling that role.
Yeah, but at least Licorice, so far, first test, passed with flying colors, obviously, plays GP, like you said, losing matchup, comes out okay after a little bit of abuse, but plays the rest of the game great. And here he has commanded the lane the entire time, and him and Sven showed a ton of synergy, constantly gaking down there before finally breaking the game open like that.
Well, a 2-0 week and a very solid performance from the rookie. Let's hear from the man himself. Time now to send it down to Avli May, who's standing by with Cloud9's rookie.
Thanks, guys. I am here with Licorice, and congratulations on your win. Yesterday you were getting bullied, picked on a little bit by Clutch Gaming, but today you break out the Kled, you floor everyone with it. You didn't die once. What's it like to start off your NALCS season with a 2-0?
I mean, it feels pretty good. Like, the first day was a little bit rough. Like, they tried to focus top lane a little bit more than I expected, and we still came out with a win. And then today they kind of like ignored top lane, so I was kind of left to do my own thing. So it feels really good.
Well, you came straight from the Challenger scene. Can you tell me a little bit about your transition from playing in the Challenger scene to the NALCS?
There's definitely been like a learning curve for sure. Like when we first started scrimming, I was kind of just running around and killing myself a lot. And we've tried to like fix that, and it's a process and we're getting there. So, I mean, I think just like Reaper's been great at helping me like fix what I need to fix. So it's good.
So can you tell me a little bit about your experience now just being on Cloud9, maybe more with Reaper and even learning from the team?
I mean, coming into Cloud9, I was kind of expecting that I'd be like on Maokai duty, where I was just like, I'm the new guy, you know, like give him a tank, he'll sit up there into the top lane. But Reaper's been like super good about, and I mean the rest of the team too have been super good about letting me play what I want and like kind of experimenting and just trying to figure out what's good. And they're not trying to like pigeonhole me into like a specific type of like play. So it's been really nice on Cloud9.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like you know what you're going to do, but how are you going to show the world that you are this new rookie coming in and you're here to win?
I guess we'll just look for the 2-0 next week as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for this interview. And stick around because after we take a quick short commercial break, we're going to have Echo Fox versus Clutch Gaming.
Fitzgerald going to be put to sleep. The Drowsy comes out. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble not quite able to find the mark. It's still high, grabbing the first blood, but he dies for it. Contract's going to be killed number 2.
Don't hit him. Now. No.